The MiG-25 Foxbat was one of the most feared aircraft of the Cold War. For years, it was surrounded by mystery, rumors of impossible speed, whispers of unmatched altitude, speculation that the Soviet Union had built a fighter beyond anything the West could counter. But the truth behind the MiG-25 is even more powerful than the myth. In the 1960s, the Cold War was accelerating. The United States was deploying high-altitude bombers and reconnaissance aircraft that seemed untouchable. Aircraft like the SR-71 Blackbird were flying faster and higher than anything in the Soviet arsenal. From Moscow's perspective, this was unacceptable. The Soviet Union needed an answer, not a balanced multi-role fighter, not a maneuverable dogfighter. They needed a machine built for one purpose: interception at extreme speed and extreme altitude. What emerged from the Mikoyan-Gurevich Design Bureau was the MiG-25, a Soviet interceptor engineered around raw performance. This was not an aircraft shaped by elegance, it was shaped by necessity. The MiG-25 was designed to fly at speeds exceeding Mach 2.8. In controlled bursts, it could approach Mach 3. It could climb above 80,000 feet, placing it among the highest-flying combat aircraft ever built. At a time when most fighters were still refining supersonic performance, the MiG-25 was operating at the edge of aerodynamic possibility. But speed at that level comes with consequences. At near Mach 3, the surface of the aircraft heats dramatically. Air friction turns into thermal stress. Metals expand. Engines strain. To survive these conditions, Soviet engineers made a surprising decision. Instead of relying heavily on titanium like the Americans, the MiG-25 was built largely from stainless steel. Steel was heavier, but it was durable. It was easier to manufacture in large quantities, and it could tolerate the intense heat generated at extreme speed. The result was a massive interceptor that looked blunt and powerful rather than sleek and agile. Everything about the MiG-25 was oversized. Its twin engines were enormous. Its air intakes were vast. Its radar system was built for long-range detection. This aircraft was not meant to turn tightly in a dogfight. It was meant to climb rapidly, lock onto a target from far away, fire powerful radar-guided missiles, and exit the engagement at overwhelming speed. When Western analysts first observed the MiG-25 in the late 1960s, alarm spread quickly. From limited intelligence and distant air show sightings, it appeared to be a highly maneuverable super fighter. Some believed it could outfly and outclimb any American aircraft. This perception had consequences. The United States accelerated development of new air superiority fighters. Programs that would eventually produce aircraft like the F-15 Eagle were influenced by the fear that the MiG-25 represented a dramatic leap in Soviet capability. But in 1976, everything changed. A Soviet pilot defected to Japan in a MiG-25, giving Western engineers their first close look at the aircraft. What they discovered was unexpected. The MiG-25 was fast, incredibly fast, but it was not optimized for maneuverability. Its avionics relied on vacuum tube technology rather than cutting-edge microelectronics. Its structure was rugged but heavy. The Foxbat was not a dogfighter designed to dominate close-range combat. It was a specialized high-speed interceptor, and in that role it was formidable. Its large radar allowed it to detect targets at long range. Its missiles were among the largest air-to-air weapons of the era. Its speed made interception difficult and retreat even harder to counter. The MiG-25 also served as a reconnaissance platform. In its reconnaissance configuration, it could penetrate hostile airspace at extreme altitude and speed. Intercepting it was extraordinarily difficult. For years, it gathered intelligence across tense regions of the globe. The aircraft saw operational service beyond the Soviet Union. It flew with air forces in the Middle East and North Africa. In several regional conflicts, it demonstrated its ability to outrun and outclimb threats, even if it was not designed for close combat superiority. But as military aviation evolved, the battlefield changed. Speed remained important. Altitude still mattered. Yet survivability increasingly depended on advanced avionics, electronic warfare, stealth, and multi-role flexibility. The MiG-25 was a product of a specific strategic moment, a response to high-altitude bombers and reconnaissance aircraft, a machine built for a narrow but critical mission. Eventually, it was succeeded by more advanced designs, such as the MiG-31, which expanded on its high-speed interception philosophy while incorporating improved radar and modern systems. Still, the legacy of the MiG-25 endures. It represents a time when engineering ambition pushed to extremes, when nations raced not only for superiority, but for psychological advantage. Because the MiG-25 did more than intercept aircraft. It shaped perception. For years, it forced adversaries to reconsider their own capabilities. It influenced aircraft development programs. It altered intelligence assessments. It demonstrated that in military aviation, reputation can be as powerful as performance. The Foxbat was not built to be graceful. It was built to be unstoppable in a straight line. It was a steel spear thrown into the sky at nearly 3 times the speed of sound. When you see the MiG-25 today, whether in archival footage or preserved in museums, you are looking at more than a Cold War aircraft. You are looking at a machine forged by fear, rivalry, and technological competition. An interceptor that pushed speed and altitude to their limits. A Soviet jet that forced the world to pay attention. The MiG-25 Foxbat was not just fast, it was a statement. And in the silent tension of the Cold War, statements like that could change the balance of power.